In the last video, I introduced you to this cool thing called a reduction formula, and you saw how powerful it was in the last video. It greatly simplified our calculations for an indefinite integral. And what I want to do is just continue getting more practice constructing reduction formulas and using them. So I want you to come up with the reduction formula for this down here, and then I want you to apply that reduction formula to find capital F sub 5 of x. So pause the video and give that a try on your own. All right, assuming that you've given it a go. Again, our reduction formula is trying to express this integral in terms of a simpler integral. And in order to start looking at that, we need to apply integration by parts. So let's apply integration by parts. And we need to get a u and a v prime. So u here is going to be x to the nth power. And then u prime is going to be n times x to the n minus 1 power. And then v prime is going to be e to the x. And we love taking the antiderivative of e to the x because it's just e to the x. Now, applying integration by parts with our notation up here, this is all going to be equal to capital F sub n of x. And that is equal to integration by parts. So that's u times v. That is going to be x to the nth power times e to the x, and then we have minus this indefinite integral of v du. So that is e to the x times n times x to the n minus 1 power, integrating that all with respect to x. And looking at this indefinite integral, it looks like we can factor out, we can take this n term out of our integral here, because it's just a constant, and writing that out, what do we have? We have x to the nth power times e to the x, minus, we took this n out, times this indefinite integral. Now we are going to have e to the x times x to the n minus 1 power dx. And what were we after in doing this? Well, we were looking for a simpler version, a simpler integral that we could express this in terms of. And we found that right here. We found that right here. This guy right here is what in our notation? This guy is capital F sub n minus 1 of x. So we do have something simpler now. And now we can write out our full reduction formula. So we can write that capital F sub n of x is equal to x to the nth power times e to the x minus n times capital F sub n minus 1 of x. And this guy right here is our reduction formula. Right here. And now that we have it, again, we want to find what capital F sub 5 of x is. So we're going to put this guy in action. Let's put this guy in action. We spent some time making it, and we might as well use it. So let's get some space going here. These calculations might be a little long, so let's give us as much space as possible. And we're interested in this. We're interested in capital F sub 5 of x, and that is this indefinite integral. So the indefinite integral of x to the 5th power times e to the x dx. And again, what you saw in the last video, all we're going to do is write out our reduction formula. And we're going to see what we get here. So under our reduction formula, we have this. We have x, and wherever we see an n now, that's going to be 5. So we have x to the 5th power times e to the x minus 5 times, and then we have capital F sub n minus 1, so that is going to be capital F sub 4 of x. And then likewise, what we saw in the last video, we just come down here and we use it again. So we use it on capital F sub 4 of x. And applying our reduction formula, now n is 4, so we have x to the 4th power times e to the x minus 4 times, we'll go orange here, capital F sub 3 of x. All right, moving down again, we have capital F sub 3 of x, and this is equal to x cubed times e to the x minus 3. And then we can go dark blue now. So we'll go dark blue, like this blue. So capital F sub 2 of x. And then we move down again, capital F sub 2 of x. This is equal to x squared times e to the x minus 2. And then maybe we can go green now, capital F sub 1 of x. And we're getting close. We're getting close. capital F sub 1 of x, f sub 1 of x is equal to x to the first power times e to the x, and then we have minus 1 times capital F sub 0 of x. And then capital F sub 0 of x. Here we go. This is the good part. Capital F sub 0 of x. That in our notation here is the indefinite integral. This is the indefinite integral of x to the 0th power times e to the x. So we have x to the 0th power times e to the x, and then dx. And what is this right here? X to the 0th power is 1. So this is the indefinite integral of e to the x dx. And that is our favorite because this is just e to the x. And we can't forget this plus c, but we'll throw it in later. And now here comes the fun part. We just keep back substituting and writing down what the answer is. So we have x. This is equal to, let's get green going here. We have x times e to the x minus, what do we find here? Capital F sub 0 of x is e to the x. And then we move back up a row and we keep on going. So this is x squared times e to the x minus 2 times what we had down here. So this is times what we had down here. So this is x times e to the x. And then we have minus e to the x. All right. And then let me get a blue parentheses going here. All right, a blue parentheses. There it is. All right. And then we move back up another row. And we have this here, x cubed times e to the x. And then we have minus 3 times everything down here. And let's just try to get this going a little quicker. Maybe we'll copy paste after this one. So we have x squared times e to the x. And then we have minus 2. And then times, let's get green. So this is x times e to the x minus e to the x minus e to the x. And then this will be blue. And then we have orange. And then we move back up another row. And we're getting closer to our answer. We're getting closer. We're getting there. So this is x to the 4th power times e to the x minus 4 times all of this down here. And now I'm going to copy paste this guy. Here we go. Copy paste right here. Copy, paste. We'll fit this guy in right there. Okay. And then we have this here. Let me throw a yellow parentheses on. And then lastly, this is our last step. Here we go. So this is equal to capital F sub 5 of x is equal to x to the 5th power times e to the x minus 5 times everything that we have down here. And that is going to be this. Let me copy paste. We'll move this guy up here. And then we'll fill in what we had in yellow. So let's get this in here. So we have x to the 4th times e to the x. And then minus 4 times all of this. And then one more purple parentheses. And then we can't forget our plus c right here. We got a lot of colors going on. But this right here is our answer. Right here. This is our answer. And again, you could see just how powerful these reduction formulas are. Once we constructed our reduction formula, the hardest calculation that we had to do was taking the indefinite integral of e to the x. Isn't that cool?